Good afternoon to all. And it is a great pleasure to be here. And thank you to Mr. Tsomokos for organizing again an exquisite event. Please allow me first to introduce myself. I am Sonia Melegou. I am a lawyer and partner at the law firm Zepos and Yannopoulos, heading the real estate practice. With us today, we have the representatives of three leading in Greece international brands, and internationally, Marriott, Radisson, and Brown. So we have with us Mr. Elie Milky, Vice President Development at Radisson Hotel Group. Elie is currently responsible for driving the expansion opportunities and leading the Radisson Group's strategic growth in the areas of Middle East, Pakistan, Cyprus, and Greece. That's a rather strange combination of markets, but that's okay. Then we have Mr. Nikos Hadjos. Nikos Hadjos is a consultant to Marriott International and the founder and managing director of Hotellect, a private hotel advisory services firm. And last but not least, we have Mr. Leon Avigad, founder Avigad, founder of Brown Hotels. Brown is a boutique collection. Which started from Israel and Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and has now expanded to Europe and, of course, Greece. Thank you for being here. May I ask if I can address you with your first name, as we discussed?
Of course. That's the only way.
Thank you. So the topic of our discussion today has to do with whether or not it is good to be with an international brand. And, of course, we discussed in the executive breakfast this morning, there were some reservations about the future of real estate market in the short term, but we didn't hear any reservation about the hospitality market. And going one step further, this is what we are going to discuss with you. While the Greek market, we have seen certain international brands positioning themselves in the Greek market, still the penetration is very low. And the market remains fragmented, mainly comprising small-sized hotels and family-owned businesses and a small few hotel chains. So, Elie, coming to you, 2022 has been a year of enormous growth for Radisson. Would you like to share with us how do you see the prospects of the Greek tourism market in the near future?
Yes, thank you. I hope you can hear me well, and apologize for switching to English compared to the other panels. Greece has been, I call Greece the last of the European frontiers, the last investment frontiers in Europe for hospitality real estate. If I tell you one statistic, and I keep mentioning that every time I speak, less than 1% of all hotels in Greece are internationally branded. And that's a very, very small number. That's less than 100 hotels compared to the 10,000 hotels you have in Greece today. That's lower than any other market in Europe today. Having focused on the market in 2019, we started looking at the opportunities with different types of investors. Existing families, white label operators, foreign investors. And because of that focus, we've had a record year in signing four deals this year and opening 3 hotels this year. We've never had that much growth. And that's just proof how much more we can do in the years to come.
Okay, that's very optimistic. And coming to you, Nikos, I mean, you have a strong, in your capacity as consultant of Marriott, you have a strong footprint in Greece. And Marriott has been one of the first, if not the first, international brand to invest in the Greek market. What are the challenges that you faced when you entered? And have you overcome these challenges?
Well, we have overcome them, but it's an ongoing process. Well, indeed, we were the first ones, as wearing my Marriott hat now, we were the first big hotel chain to actually take the risk and plant a developer to stay and live in Greece, and from Greece basically work around Cyprus and Malta. And that basically paid significant dividends since from 2016 until the COVID, we were the #1 company with new signings. So, we didn't do anything magical. We simply were present. It helped that yes, I happen to be Greek, besides being present here and to know the market. But the key, I think, was for us being here and being able to pick up the phone and go meet an owner wherever they are, instead of having to come from Dubai, from Brussels, from London, where the other competitors of Marriott had their headquarters and had the developer who was in charge of Greece. And that, of course, took them some time to react. The numbers, speak for themselves. Now, what were the challenges? When I came, Marriott had just left Greece December 2013 when they left from the Lydra Marriott. And one of the first challenges that I had was to explain to owners that Lydra Marriott, it's not a company. Lydra Marriott is just a hotel. Lydra was the local name of the hotel, and Marriott is the company. And we had left such a bad reputation because the hotel for the last few years, unfortunately, was not being renovated, and it had become one of the detractors for the company. And that's why we actually left December 13, because it was hurting our brand image because of the physical condition of the hotel, which we all know what happened afterwards when the bank took it and then it was sold. Now it's a beautiful Grand Hyatt hotel. So that was number one for us. Number two was that the Greek owners were not really aware what's the additional value that the international brand can bring to the table for them. They had, for many decades, they were resting in the misconception that being engaged with a tour operator, getting upfront some deposits and having some guarantee contracts, that would basically be a safety net where they could sit comfortably. Now, when Thomas Cook happened and some other tour operators, they went bankrupt, that dream, that little cloud started dissolving, and they start realizing that actually international brands are not the big bad wolves that comes to eat them and eat their money, but they're there to add value. And another thing was
let's not go into that too much. We will discuss it later on.
And then one last thing was that the collection of all the international hotels, the collection brands were just starting to basically emerge to their successful journey. And that actually, for Marriott, we have 16 collection brand hotels.
And what made you come back? Since you left in 2013, what made you come back?
The opportunity, Greece. I mean, Elie just said it, 1% now, 1% of all the hotel supply in Greece is internationally branded. It was a personal bet from me, living from Dubai, Marriott's headquarters, to come to Greece, where I had to pay also even, income tax. Exactly. So people thought it was crazy, but I believed in Greece, and I thought that, Marriott, would have the competitive advantage of being the first one to take a footstep into the Greek market. And, we were proven right.
Nice. So, Leon, coming to you, you have been to Greece for the last 5 years. As a company, but I guess now you have also moved personally to Greece, showing your love for the country. You started out from investing primarily in city hotels, but now we see that Brown is expanding in the mainland and other areas which are not considered the hotspots of the tourism, at least the prevailing view. And also, since you primarily own and operate the hotels yourself, you have a different position in the market than Elie and Nikos, Marriott and Radisson. So what is your view about the prospects, and where do you see that the opportunities lie?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me. And yes, I do feel much more Greek than before, and I have a question within me, what am I more, Greek or where I was born? But answering your question, we started out of love, and then it became an actual business transaction. At the beginning, it's a known thing. My love and our love to Greece and the similarity between, resemblance between the two cultures. So the first hotel was not a very business decision-based activity. But then we moved forward on, and the city of Athens and the government and the community embraced us, and we felt so much at home that not only I moved, but we started bringing more and more friends, and we started acquiring more. Yes, at the beginning in Athens, but we have a very clear strategy. Whenever we stick to it, we're good. Whenever we divert, we go wrong. Our strategy is very simple and very different maybe than other companies. First of all, we operate and own as much as we can. We try not to lease unless it's a very good opportunity for a very long time. We'd like to enjoy the appreciation and the appreciation in the value of the property. Also, we tend not to invest in prime location, but in places that are secondary and minutes away. So for us, everybody's talking again about Omonia, but for us, Omonia Square is a given. It's 7 minutes on Athinas to Monastiraki, 5 minutes to Psiri, and 10 minutes walking to on Stadiou to Syntagma. So for us, this is 1,000 euros a meter when we came. Now it's a little bit more, and Syntagma is anywhere between 6,000 to 10,000 euros a meter. In Omonia, we can still find good opportunities. Omonia, the greater area of Omonia, at somewhere between 70 to 100,000 euros a key, while as in Monastiraki, they offer us hotels for 3 times as much. So this is the opportunity, and I think that the strategy of finding the right place that will be the up and coming, that will be the best next place, that has a really good tourism infrastructure, such as a marina, or proximity to the airport, or proximity to Athens, or very good stretch of tavernas and good lifestyle. Places like Loutraki or Agio Theodori, that for us is wonderful. It's a beautiful stretch of land, wonderful blue beach. Why not? So for us, this is the way to go. We enter a new destination with a minimum of 400 rooms or 4 different hotels. And then we can really make an impact, make a difference with our lifestyle and nightlife geared design and the content, the experiential hospitality. This is where we are at the moment. We're very bullish. We're very happy with our investment so far. We opened 9 operating hotels soon in 2023. Hopefully the rest somewhere between 15 to 18. You know how construction is. Somewhere between 15 to 18 new hotels will be launched during the next 14 months. And then on the rest, it's just you guys gained everything. You have the most beautiful stretch of land, great weather. The government and bureaucracy is under control. You like to say that bureaucracy is really bad here, but when you compare it to other places, this is bearable. So
in comparison to Israel, I think you mean?
No, in comparison to Israel, everything is better when it comes to bureaucracy. But when you compare it to Germany, to Croatia, to other places where we operate, it's...
You also don't have to deal with the Greek hotel owners, and this brings me to the other question that we discussed before. You face the challenges when you enter the market, and we were discussing, what about the independent hotel owners in Greece? Have you seen a reluctance in pairing up with an international brand? And if so, where would someone attribute this?
Yeah, it's natural. It's a common trend across Southern Europe, where there's a reluctance, hesitance with partnering with an international brand. First of all, Nikos said it, we're here to add value, and that's something that the local operators need to understand. And what does that mean? We're not here to teach them what to do. We're here to add more to what they're doing very well for the past 50 years. Thomas Cook is a great example. Southern Europe, hundreds of hotels shut down after the collapse of Thomas Cook in 2019. Not one branded resort shut down. There's a reason. The pandemic, all the international operators had hygiene standards. And all of a sudden, when travel returned, a lot of travelers wanted to go to branded hotels because of these standards. Travelers want to see some kind of standards related to everything else when it comes to a brand. What we offer independent hoteliers is a discount on the commissions they pay on OTAs, or OTA fees, for instance. We offer them revenue optimization tools to help them improve their average rate. If they used to achieve a 90% occupancy for 150 euro ADR, we can tell them we can make 200 euro ADR for 85% of the occupancy, so their bottom line would increase. There's so many different added elements that we can provide that would make it more attractive. One more thing that's very important is that apart from NPLs, non-performing loans, and many investors wanting international brands, the new generation of hoteliers are starting to see the benefit of new brands, new markets, new distribution channels, diversifying the risk, having different rate strategies. So the new generation is starting to see that benefit, and that's what's helping us see less reluctance to international brands, and that's been a positive in recent years.
Nikos?
What I would add is that there was the skepticism by the Greek owners, independent Greek owners, to join with an international brand, just because in the past, but we're talking about maybe 70s, 80s, there were a few unsuccessful attempts of marrying a Greek owner with an international brand, and that had left a pretty bad sour taste in their mouth. So they were expecting for someone to take the first step and basically, take the risk. And for me, I always use that as a case study. The owner of Domes Resorts, which is basically Marriott's most strategic owner right now and franchisee in Greece, he was the first Greek owner, independent owner, that after we had left, came to us and asked us to do an autograph collection, the first autograph collection in Greece, and it was the 8th autograph collection in Europe. We had just brought autograph collection from the States. So he supposedly took the big risk. And after that, the second one came, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth. At the same time, the institutional investors started to finally invest in Greece. I have here two of my friends, Prodea and Demand. We signed the first hotel that they have in the portfolio, which was the Moxie in Patra, which was followed then with the Moxie in Omonia, which is a huge success. So independent Greek hotel owners start seeing that, there are other people investing, and that means that maybe working with brands is not a bad thing. As at the same time, exactly. And you see now more and more, you have brands like Radisson, you have Hilton, you have Accor, you have Four Seasons. An influx of international brands has started to come, which is great for the country, right? Because branding it's not a panacea. Not everybody has to be branded. It doesn't need to be branded. But an equilibrium is good for the country, because even the independent hoteliers, in a way, they're forced to raise their own bar because of the standards that the international brands are bringing, whether it's Brown, whether it's Radisson, whether it's Marriott.
Something I'd like to add to this is a real estate conference, and the way we see it, I used to work for HVS, and we used to advise owners on valuations, pre-branding, post-branding, renovation, and all of that. The value of a property, if they're able to sell it with or without the brand, increases in value after a renovation, increases in value after a brand comes on board, simply because of the synergies and the strategy and everything they put in place. So what we try to do is the Greek owners need to look at this from a long-term perspective. Hospitality real estate is something you pass on from generation to generation. You sell after 5 years, 10 years. You need to look at the long term, not at a pandemic or at 5 hotels opening in a market. You need to look at the long term. And in the long term, when you increase average rates and you increase profitability and you increase the value of the asset, the way it looks and feels in design, you increase that value to the owner, to the investor.
But what we see is a shift in luxury. And I wanted to ask you, Leon, is this the only where the opportunity lies, in luxury hospitality, or in parallel we see that there will be a growing need for lower category hotels, city hotels that will not target high net worth individuals that have to pay something more?
So what we see right now is a shift from very segmented hospitality structure, 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars. Either you're on a business or on leisure. Right now, everything is so fluid. People are coming for today's conference, staying one more night. So is their stay leisure or corporate? They're coming with a wife. Is it corporate or leisure? They could have stayed in one of the big hotels, or the big brands, but they prefer to stay at a boutique hotel with a cool rooftop bar. Is it business or leisure? So what I'm saying is this structure is way less confined right now. And I can tell you that it's not only a matter of structure, it's also a matter of location. Because in a greenfield or at a place that you would like to somehow make everybody known as a good location, right now it is a secondary location, then you might need the boost. In a big city where one of the big players, they're both represented already, then you might ask yourself, is it good or not? And then I ask, you use the word forcing, Nikos, and my question is, so why do you need to you use the word forcing, why do you need to force new independent hoteliers to stay with you for 20 years? Maybe this is a certain threshold or a barrier that might, as a family-owned hotel that I got from my father, I have 16 rooms, this is my life. Why would I like to engage myself for 20 years? So I think that the force or the independent hoteliers still have the power to choose between many big brands. And I think that maybe this is the time to think about the small-time hotelier that is investing all his life, all his savings, from one generation to the next. We all in agreement. Brands and international brands deliver value. It comes with a cost.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting point.
I could add something here. You asked about luxury. Most of our brands are not luxury, and we add value at different segments of the market. The mid-scale segment, the upscale segment, the upper upscale. So when we talk about branding, it's not about luxury. Some of our hotels are luxury, but most are in the upper upscale entry-level 5-star tier, some are in the 4-star tier, some are in the 3-star tier. So it covers all segments in certain locations. The right product, the right positioning for the right location. Forcing, sorry, yes.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
On forcing, you have a point. That's why we choose the partner that is, first of all, 16 rooms would be a small one. 20 years, it would depend on the type, the structure of the agreement, the type of the asset, and all of that. So it all depends. But you're right. We need to think more entrepreneurial and more creative, in line with the investor and with the owner. You're right.
99% of those independent hotel owners need to be represented, and they need.
For sure.
Exactly, that would be my last question. What would be the reason for you
I think, putting my Hotellect hat on, I think, first of all, as I said before, I was saying when I was working for Marriott, now I can say it also, not just being a consultant for Marriott, not all hotels need to be branded, and not all hotels need to be branded with a big international chain. The emergence of boutique hotel brands is something that it was a blessing, I think, because it gave more options to hoteliers like the ones that you're saying, 16, 20, 25, 50 rooms, that either they don't want to or they shouldn't actually get engaged with one of the big players, but nevertheless, they would take advantage of the support that a brand, whether it's medium or small, would give to the owner.
Would experiential, new frontier hospitality be well represented with you guys? This is, the hospitality world is changing. From big blockbusters to more boutique-ish lifestyle theme hotels.
Soft brands.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. Exactly. That's why now all the big players, they actually have shifted themselves to either collection brands or lifestyle experiential brands, where actually the owner can choose to build their own brand. For example, Autograph Collection, it became a huge success because of its tagline, exactly like nothing else. It's amazing. It gives you, as an owner, the freedom to do the name, the identity that you want, and at the same time, help get the benefits of the umbrella of the Marriott International. And I think that the future is towards that direction, and not on the hard brands.
So I think that our time is up, and I think that we are in a very interesting point of the conversation right now. And I wanted to see if there is any question from the audience, if we have someone that has to ask a question to our panelists. I guess.
Yes, there's one.
We got one. We got
Okay.
excited.
Yes.
We thought nobody was interested.
Δεν σας ακούσαμε. Υπάρχει κάποιο μικρόφωνο. Το βλέπουμε και εδώ. Ναι, περιμένετε μισό λεπτό.
No.
Okay. So, Giorgos Peroutsias, Head of Asset Management with Grivalia.
And the next Browning.
And next Browning, exactly. So, Nico, you answered, but not totally on the question that Leon did. Would the big players change the duration of a contract? Not 20 years. 20 years for a small hotel is huge time.
We both have an answer, so I'll answer first.
Right, yeah.
This is something that is purely of a commercial nature, and it's not a question that I can answer, with a simple yes or a no. There's much more depth into it. What I can tell you is that the whole landscape of contracts, whether it's management or franchise, it's evolving. That's all I can tell you. The rest is a matter of negotiation and, on a deal-per-deal basis.
Yeah.
I think you are losing opportunities.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Can I add to that? First of all, I like your scarf. That's a very nice scarf you're wearing.
Thank you very much.
Second of all, some owners want a long-term contract because they see it as stability. So it's not always a bad thing to have. You don't want the brand changed every 5 years. It hurts the real estate value, right? So they want a long-term contract. Some owners actually want a 25-year contract. Having said that, we found different ways. If it's a soft brand, it could be a shorter contract. If it's a hard brand, it could be a slightly longer contract. And options to exit if there's underperformance, right?
Exactly.
So we're finding different ways, like I said, to be creative and entrepreneurial so as not to lose opportunities. And some of our partners are in the room today. We've had to change our rules of engagement within the company in the past 2 years alone, internal fights, education, to be able to get these deals done. So you have a point. Thank you.
No, it's true. And again, it's not every deal is for every hotel company. And that's the beauty of it. Now you have, as owners, as investors, you have a wide range of choice that you can choose. And again, you cannot have one answer for all projects. I mean, luxury, for example, is completely different from mid-scale or from economy. You cannot treat the contract the same way. And again, there are provisions that are fair, and they protect the owner as much as the brand.
Okay, I didn't hear a bell ring as it did for the others,
So
but the clock here is ruthless for me. So wrapping up this conversation, I think that it is obvious that the answer to the question to be or not to be with an international brand is positive. And we see that there is a lot of potential for further penetration of international brands in the Greek market, and that they only add value to the Greek hotels.
At cost.
And cost.
At
Okay, I didn't say that.
At a cost. At a cost, not at cost. At a cost.
At an investment.
Thank you.
Nothing's free, right?
Thank you all, and thank you to our audience for your attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.